Welp, that was fucked up. So let's talk about the brand new movie I've been looking very much forward to. This was a movie that made its festival debut, and I gotta say, folks, have not seen bad movies this month at least. I got another one I'll be watching tonight, so you might get another one of these short kind of reviews. But let's talk about Love Lies Bleeding. Um, Heard a lot about this film before I watched it. Um, Now I'm not opposed to these sort of controversial type movies because there's a theme in here. The two main characters are gay and in love. It's not a forced kind of plot point. It doesn't feel like it's delivering in kind of a message. And believe it or not, I am a huge fan of Brokeback Mountain back in the day. Yes, I know. People say what you want to say. That was a fucking great movie. I will fucking die on that hill. Anyways, so Love Lies Bleeding though is a quite a different beast in general. So first off, this is directed by Rose Glass. If you guys don't know who Rose Glass is, one of my favorite and I really feel underrated movies is a little, I guess you'd call it horror thriller called Saint Maud. And Rose Glass made Saint Maud. And I've been waiting for her to make another film. So here she's made another film, and holy shit, let's talk about it. And the thing about this movie that I could tell right away is that this was the person who made Saint Maud. Because if you've ever seen Saint Maud, there is a lot of surrealist visuals. Now, while this movie doesn't have the same surrealist visuals of, say, Saint Maud or the whole delusional thing, Rose Glass does play around a lot with the techniques. So I'm jumping ahead of myself. I will dive into this. This might be a slightly longer review, even though I'm not going to do any spoilers. Good morning, Lemon Pie. Good to see you. Welcome to my non-spoiler review of Love Lies Bleeding. I've got a lot to say, and oh boy, is this a movie. Even without giving away spoilers, there's a lot I could say to this movie. So the movie is from director Rose Glass, who did Saint Maud, which was one of my favorite movies when it came out. Thought it was fucking criminally underrated. I don't know if you call it horror, thriller, whatever. I call it fucking horror, given everything that happens in the movie. But once again, you had great actors in here. So who do we have in this movie? We have Kristen Stewart, who people just need to recognize her talent. I know she got shit from Twilight, but since those days, her and what's his face are super fucking good. Robert Pattinson. There we go. Her and Pattinson are actually great fucking actors. They need to stop being given shit or truly underestimated, because holy shit, is Kristen Stewart fucking amazing in this movie. You also have Ed Harris, who is a personal favorite of mine, and Gina Malone, and a newcomer to the scene, Katie O'Brien, who is ripped as shit in this movie and proves there's this theory that women who look, I guess, built or whatever it is, they get a lot of shit. And the theme of this works very well because this is a movie about 80s bodybuilding. And I'll get to the themes and shit like that. But this actress, I believe she's a bodybuilder in real life, and holy fucking shit, she is the scariest yet sexiest woman I've ever seen, and I'm very conflicted on my thoughts. There were even some weird reports about people doing some things to this movie, to very fucking odd scenes, and when I explain some of the things that happened in this movie, because I don't want to give it away, very odd people would do that, in particular to this film. I mean, I get it. There's certain scenes that are like, whatever, but my God, people got fucking weird taste. Look, not kink shaming here, and don't get me wrong, there's some pretty racy scenes in this movie, but some of the fucking stories I heard, I was like, man, some people just have too much fucking free time on their hands. So, we have Kristen Stewart, Ed Harris, Gina Malone, Dave Franco, Katie O'Brien, and Anna Barzowski. And I gotta give it to Dave, man. I feel like Dave is the Franco nobody fucking talks about, and might be, or probably, more talented than even his brother, James. Dave Franco puts on a fucking great performance. He plays an abusive piece of shit. I don't know. He might be drawing from his brother on. Anyways, not saying anything about that. But Dave Franco is fucking phenomenal. Pretty much the acting in this movie across the board is fucking phenomenal. Now, the plot of this story is that a reclusive gym manager, Lou, played by Kristen Stewart, falls in love with Jackie, an ambitious bodybuilder, headed to Vegas in her pursuit of her dream, which is to win this bodybuilding competition. But their love ignites violence that pulls them deep into a web of Lou's criminal family in a heart-thumping, muscle-pumping ride. And so basically the gist is Lou, played by Kristen Stewart, falls in love with Jackie, and within that, there is Lou's father, who is this dude who deals meth and all sorts of other shit that's alluded to. And it is a progression of shit that happens and that stacks on top of each other and gets progressively worse as you get through this. This movie very much reminds me of what was the movie I was watching the other day? I was watching the show Beef. And this movie reminds me very much of that, but taken to like 11 as far as like violence, sex, and the overall like hyper stylistic 80s machismo kind of feel to it. This is a very hard movie to describe, but it takes place around 89. And so you had the big steroids thing that was going on, and that plays into it. And there's a lot of themes in this movie that tie in the idea of steroids and love, and how steroids causes, of course, roid rage and an addiction, and how love can also cause a destructive kind of an addictive thing. And I think the parallel is this relationship between Lou and Jackie, and how much like the drug Jackie is taking, or Lou is addicted to cigarettes. It's the parallels of addiction while having it framed by this addictive and also destructive love that they develop. Does that shit sound deep? Yeah. The movie very clearly, though, makes it evident what these parallels are. Where this movie really gets shocking and surprising is the violence in this. Holy fucking shit. I had heard there were some shocking scenes in here, but Jesus Christ, some of the fucking things that is in here, I was like, oh God, damn, some people get, I mean, and this isn't like a John Wick, or don't expect like this big, like there's a bunch of bodies being dropped. That isn't this movie. But when the violence happens, and this is from the director who made Saint Maud and has one of my favorite visuals, probably in one of those religious, spiritual kind of movies ever. And spoilers if you haven't seen Saint Maud, but Jesus Christ, you should fucking watch that movie because it's great. But at the end, Maud sets herself on fire, and they show that in very strenuous detail. It feels like a step up from that violence. However, the director doesn't depend on the violence for the draw of this movie. It's really a story about these two very flawed individuals, and Lou, played by Kristen Stewart, is very much at a standstill in her life when Jackie comes along. it's an age-old story of like these two people who help each other, but at the same time are terribly bad and destructive together. And it is in its most simplistic. It's a love story with violent elements. But to boil it down to just a love story is really reductive. It's so much more. And I'm trying not to give spoilers because really this movie is a movie that needs to be seen to catch all the themes and shit that's in here. But also, I appreciate that Rose Glass doesn't lose some of the things I liked about Saint Maud. There is, especially towards the end, and a warning if you don't like this shit, but there's surrealist shit in here. There's a lot of dream shit that isn't necessarily real, but a metaphor for what is happening at the time. And so it will kind of do a realistic thing, and then it'll go into a surrealistic thing, or even what the characters are picturing, or what their idea of the moment is. And then we get snapped back to what the moment is and the realities of it. And I do know some people gave it some harsh criticisms for this. Like, it's like, come on. I understand some critique because I understand when I was younger, I did not have patience for thought-provoking films and sort of surrealistic things. And if you want to go into this movie just basic, like, revenge thriller with two reasonably good-looking women, then you could go and see it as that kind of movie. But if you're looking for something deeper, the movie also offers that to you. You can also look at the overall themes and aspects of what the film is conveying through its messaging. Even just doing a non-spoiler movie about this, I feel like I could talk about this thing forever and how great it is. The cinematography is spot on. The fucking 80s music is on point. Ed Harris is fucking Ed Harris. I mean, he's great. What are you going to say? It's Ed Harris. If you know Ed Harris and you know his acting, you know him from like The Rock and any other fucking movie he's ever been in, Ed Harris is phenomenal. Who really surprised me in this was Dave Franco. So why did I start drinking and doing this review? Because holy shit, the movie hits in a sort of way where how to explain it? This is really hard to do without any spoilers. So you expect this movie to go where it goes, but the way that the scenes and the things lined up and the way shit happens almost feels like a real life situation. And I think that's what I appreciate the most about this movie. Nothing in this movie doesn't feel like a natural progression of some fucked up thing that happened. The other great thing about the movie is the themes and the parallels and the touching on violence. I love movies that could do a smart kind of make you think about shit, kind of a theme to their story. So Lou has her father, played by Ed Harris, and he is very much picked out as this piece of shit. And don't get me wrong, he is a piece of shit. And Ed Harris plays that fucking role to perfection, which, by the way, his fucking hair looks absolutely magical for his age. He's got this long, like, 80s mullet ponytail thing going, and Ed Harris, I fucking salute you. That thing looks fucking mythical. And I mean mythical as in it's fucking majestic. But anyways, the thing I think I appreciated the most about this movie is that Lou is a bland and static character, and her falling for Jackie kind of sparks her back to life. But then you kind of realize the reasons of why Lou is the way she is, having to pertain to Ed Harris's character and their relation. And it's interesting when the third act reveals some things that make you realize that even though Ed Harris is a fucked up, deviant piece of shit character, Kristen Stewart, or her character Lou, is not exactly completely blameless in this. And I think the movie does a very good job of not just focusing in that, oh, they're a piece of shit or whatever, but there is very complex layers. Everybody in this movie does fucked up, shitty things. There is no good person in this movie. Like, holy shit. There is not one good character in this movie, and by not one good character, I don't mean they're poorly written characters. The characters are fucking egg. I mean, as individual, pretty much every person in this movie is a piece of shit in one way or another. I mean, and not to take away, because there isn't a character and a warning for this, because there is a character who gets abused here, and it figures Dave Franco plays the abusive husband pretty well. Don't know if that says anything. No offense to Dave. Dave Franco's fine. I think he's been taken out of the spotlight by James, but Dave Franco is actually really fucking good in this movie. But there is a character who gets abused in this movie. They don't explicitly show it off the top of my memory. No. It's very heavily implied. So if that stuff bothers you, but you should also know too, there is a rewarding scene for what happens to that person later. Anyways, but it's a really interesting the way every person in this movie, even the person who does suffer through some abuse, there is no really good person, because it does show that the action that's happened to them is fucking terrible. And if you've been on my channel, you know how I feel about that shit. But there is some negative traits about that person too. And what I'm trying to convey in this whole thing is that everybody has flaws and everybody's fucked up in this story, and nobody is innocent in any of the actions that are going on here. There is some degree of people slightly less evil than other people in this movie, but everyone does some fucked up shit in this movie from time to time. Even the sister who is in this abusive relationship, when the events that happen out of the sake of helping her out, she does some fucked up shit too. So it's like, it's such a crazy, thought-provoking movie. And I gotta be honest with you, this is Rose Glass's second film. Saint Maud was her first, and it was my favorite. And I said I was going to very much look forward to her next movie after Saint Maud. And I gotta say, kudos, Rose Glass. You did not fucking disappoint me. And I was like, oh, because Saint Maud was very, I want to say, horror, psychological thriller kind of deal. Where Love Lies Bleeding is very much revenge, erotic, period piece, love story, Bonnie and Clyde kind of movie. I don't even know what the fuck to classify this as. I'd say, if I was to give it the most basic classification, this is a revenge thriller. So for a director to do two movies and to do two vastly, fucking vastly different genres, this is great. It's enthralling. This movie hooked me from fucking beginning to end. It's about 104, so it's about 2 hours and 4 minutes, give or take. But it does not feel the time. Holy fucking shit. Once this movie gets going, basically once Lou and Jackie meet up, or Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien meet up, and they begin their fucking Barney and Clyde shenanigans. Holy fucking shit. This movie goes into some wild fucking places. It is well paced. The dialogue is excellent. The acting is phenomenal. The visuals are top notch. The only complaint, and the reason why I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10, is because the surrealist elements are throwing into a place that's kind of weird. And I get the metaphor. I'm not fucking stupid, so don't come at me in the chats if you're reading this with 16 fucking comments that go, well, you don't understand. This was a deeper metaphor for the thing. I fucking got what they were going for. I know about metaphors and symbolisms and all that shit. I got what they were going for, but the whole movie, besides a couple of shots and subtly done, was heading towards like Jackie's rage and Lou's inability to do things. There were little nods, and then towards the end of the movie, it takes a very hard fucking surrealist kind of fucking whacked out thing that happens. There's two crazy surrealist things that they threw in here. And I get it that what you're seeing is not actually how it translates, but I think it's going to pull a lot of people out of the movie because this movie is so grounded and gritty. And then all of a sudden it takes a hard right into dreamlike sequence in the middle of a very crucial moment. And that's my only negative to this movie. And honestly, I didn't have a problem with it. I am coming from the perspective of someone who's never seen this movie. When you're watching a fucking 2-hour grounded movie with basic, subtle, surrealist stuff that people aren't going to be put off by, when you take a fucking hard left into surrealist land out of fucking nowhere, I think it does tend to pull the audience out of the experience. And it's a shame because the ending is so fucking fantastic too. But I think the choices they make with these two particular scenes may just take people out of it. It didn't bother my enjoyment, but fair warning, there is a crazy fucking thing that happens and you kind of go, what? But I get what they were trying to do. And I think most smart people will get the symbolism or stuff like that. But I think there's a certain aspect for and something to be said for letting the scene play the way it should have played and not toying with people's visuals and toying with their mind state for the sake of making a deeper metaphor. I mean, other than that, and look, I'm fucking reaching here. This movie was almost a perfect 10. There's been a lot of movies that were almost perfect scores. This, for me, is like right up there. This movie is definitely a 9 out of 10 movie. This movie is fucking fantastic. This might be some of the best acting from Kristen Stewart yet. Like, the thing she does with this character, I don't think another actress could get to work except for how Kristen Stewart's facial things, the very things she's been criticized over the years, work extremely well for this character, given the situations that happen. It's so well, it's as if the director really worked with the strengths and weaknesses of Kristen Stewart when making this character and was able to pull out the best even from these things that shouldn't work. And like I said, I'm being very vague. For 24 minutes, this is non-spoiler, so I do not want to ruin any of this movie for you. I'm just explaining why I like it. And I can tell you right now, Kristen Stewart has really impressed me as far as acting goes. Like, holy fucking shit, man. Just some things she says, I swear, were things I was thinking that the character just fucking says. And for me, if you can nail what your audience is going to feel at that particular moment, or if your main character says things or has a certain reaction that you as an audience member has the reaction, that's damn good writing. And I think Kristen Stewart, when she's given a good director and she's given good writing, she really shines as a performer. and it makes me think people give her unnecessary shit. And Cat, Cat, Kathy O'Brien, might be the best up and comer I have seen. Katie O'Brien has such a ferocity, and this role that she's playing requires her to be in a rage because steroids were big, but in the bodybuilding scene, but also to have this softness and this kind of like side where she comes out and you can see the kind of person she is, this kind of broken, in a sense they're both broken, and Katie O'Brien pulls this off so well. Annie Barskowski, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher that name. She is super fucking good. And Jenna Malone as well is fantastic. I want to say I think she plays the other person. I don't want to kind of tell her role because it'll ruin some plot points, but very fucking good. Everybody, it's a small cast, but everybody gives a great performance. And especially the third act, it gets fucking nuts. It's ridiculous. It's bonkers. It's off the hook. And the ending is kind of crazy. So overall, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. Yes, this is going to make my top 10. And now I have Dune on there. I have this movie. And what was the other one that I haven't done yet? Oh, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I feel like I should definitely talk about that one eventually. But yes, Love Lies Bleeding is fucking a fantastic movie. I will, from now till the end of my days, watch anything director Rose Glass puts out. I have been vindicated that Saint Maud was not just a flash in the pan. She's definitely got some fucking talent. The visuals are great. The story is excellent. I think if you are into like 80s and the gym culture and a good revenge thriller / love story, this is a great movie to watch. And like I said, I had to crack open a Jack for this one. Holy fucking shit. Let me just tell you, folks, brace yourself. That fucking ending is wild. Shit gets crazy. And I thought it was going to be a big, like, blood-filled, blood-soaked Bonnie and Clyde. They're going to drive off of a fucking cliff while 1,000 cops chase them. And thankfully, it's not that movie because we've already had that movie. It's called Bonnie and Clyde. This movie is just two damaged people that do something bad and they reap the consequences of the addictions that they have. And that's the best way of it described in this movie, but I'll give it shit away. But basically, they both have addictions. And here's where the movie kind of questions, because they fall in love with each other, but they kind of use love as a way to get over their first addictions, but it kind of becomes its own addiction. And I dig that. I think she delivers that message very fucking well. And I think that, I don't know, go fucking watch it. It's a great movie. 9 out of 10. Check out Love Lies Bleeding. I am so glad I've gotten hyped for movies and they have not disappointed me. So I'm on to my next movie. You might see another review here. But I am going to go check out The Monkey Man with Dave Patel, because I've been wanting to see that movie fucking forever. So I'm going to check that out, and I might give you my short non-spoiler thoughts to that one. But yeah, Love Lies Bleeding was excellent. Definitely worth checking out. Go check it out. I think my theater had a couple more releases left, but it is streaming. You can rent it on Amazon if you so choose. Or, sail the high seas. Not that I encourage this, but some of these movies, god damn, man, you really got to see these movies. This has been quite a year. Thank you, 2024. I got shit to talk about. I'm super excited. If you like this, please hit that like button. If you enjoyed this review or you hear these reviews and you ever want me to go into spoilers like I had to with Late Night with the Devil, let me know and I will give you a long format review and my overall thoughts breaking shit down. This is another movie where I feel like I could really go through this scene by scene and the different references that are in here and what makes this movie so great to watch. And this is the short review, so I'm pretty sure I could take like 3 hours talking about this fucking movie. It's mind fucking blown. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and soon I will probably have a review up for Dave Patel's Monkey Man, so check that out here shortly. But thank you very much for watching, and as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Fandom Zone: kneel before Zod, and don't do steroids. They're bad for you kids.